Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here, and we're back with our weekly recap of all things Injustice. This is for the week of July 24th, 2025. The current character challenge is Zatanna. That is a 1-week repeat challenge, and the required characters for that are Harley Quinn, Bane, and Black Adam, who you can get as low as Bronze, Silver, and Silver tier respectively, so not too bad. Her passive is Deck of Fate, which is pick a card, any card. Each card has one of 5 effects: regain 50% of health, damage over time, damage boost, power drain, or, as in all magic, it can backfire. She's got 900 attack, 1,150 health, and was last available July 11th of last year.
Right. So, what stands out, low stats.
Yeah.
First, she has an awful special 2.
And it's a special 2/passive, right? It's a bad passive and a bad special 2.
And it'd be fine if, you can see based on the damage that she's actually not getting full value for her special 2s. So normally when you have a passive that's supposed to give you a special effect, then the bonus should be that you don't lose damage for it, but she does. And the other thing is, it cycles through 5 different things. It is too fast to pick. It is faster than any of the Harley Quinns, even the Harley Quinn that's got the most options. There's a 1 in 5 chance. So when it says it can backfire, that's a 1 in 5 chance to stun yourself. So if you pick Green Joker, you can see in the video sometimes, despite actively trying to avoid Green Joker, I'm getting stunned. And the Injustice Wiki says that you can negate that by block. But I gotta tell you, I am never smart enough, or I've never gotten in the habit of remembering to block when I pick the wrong card. So the regain health 50% is the Pale Blue Zatanna. Damage over time, but very low damage. It's only 8% of her damage stat over 3 seconds. That's Yellow Deathstroke. Damage boost of 50% is Red Wonder Woman, but that gets negated when you tag out. And Power Drain, and you can Power Drain everything the opponent's got. If it's unblocked, and that's a Blue Batman. But I gotta tell you, I have trouble doing it. I just can't, even when I'm aiming to get the... As soon as I see Joker to tap, because I know that I'll usually hit the thing after, sometimes I do it enough that I anticipate a little bit, and I eventually end up sort of backing up the time I'm hitting the tap, and end up hitting Joker and stunning myself. Mm-hmm. So there's no minigame for the damage, for the amount of damage, which is awful. So even though the stated damage says there's a minimum and a maximum, it always does the minimum damage. So you can sort of pretend that it's not halved, but for all practical purposes, it is effectively halved, and it's because it's got a secondary effect. And like I said, when it's in her passive, that shouldn't happen. Nothing special about her basics. Special 1 is also halved for having damage over time, which is burning. And so here's the thing. It's almost like it's trying to fool you. Her attack stat is low. Both of her specials are halved, so if you didn't actually know better, you could almost think, oh, that proportion is normal. I'm getting full value. You are not. She's awful as a main damage dealer. Awful. She doesn't really offer much as a teammate. So her special 1, just for practical purposes, if you're still tempted to use her, despite all her limitations, her special 1 shoves pretty hard, separate from the shove from Master's Death Cart. So this one good thing that she does is it saves her against someone with an unranged special, or any opponent that won't start a special at a distance, even if the special is range. So, for example, the Superman, including Injustice 2 Superman, if you come in and shove, because of the way we've got the team, it buys us time to tag in Rebirth Raven to steal the opponent's power. Mm-hmm. Arkham Knight is another good example. He never... Even though his special's ranged, he never starts it unless he's actually really close to you. But yeah, I'm the more I use her, the less I'm a fan of Zatanna.
For sure. So there we go. We are 65 weeks into sort of an interruption in the challenge cycle. So we are, by our estimation, 11 weeks into a 54-week cycle.
So I guess in another 43 weeks, we'll be able to say whether this is actually repeating or not, right? Because we had one sequence of 54. Mm-hmm. We're starting it again, and it looks like it's repeating, but we won't know if it's actually repeating until it actually repeats.
Yeah, so that's a lot of information to say that our guess for what we see next week is New 52 Superman, but we are a little less confident than we would have been, 2 years ago.
Right.
Which probably doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people, but...
Right.
So there we go. This week's multiplayer reward is Black Diamond, which becomes the Heart of Darkness. When it is maxed out, it gives you a 30% damage boost on Special 2. Any special attack applies a 6% damage over time, which also drains 12% enemy power. There is a 30% power generation increase, and its evolved ability is if opponents tag out, they receive damage equal to 20% of equipped characters' damage. It was last available on the 19th of December, 2024. We've also had a little bit of interruptions to the online multiplayer stuff, but not as much to suggest a change in the pattern. So we expect next week to be Batman Ninja Helmet.
Right. So not every legendary 4.5-star gear has to be the best of the best. This is one of those. It's not the best, but it is definitely clearly better than the 3.5-star gears. The power generation boost is 30%. That's as high as it gets. It's as high as League of Assassins Knives. Very helpful against any power dampening team. The damage boost on Special 2 is also pretty good. The damage over time and the tag out damage, I consider them nice bonuses, but we don't run enough damage over time teams that it makes a difference. And if the fights are going right, the opponent's not really tagging out much. And I mean, if you don't count getting knocked out, which for the purposes of the skier, it doesn't count, it's not making much difference. So we do like using this gear on our specialist, even if they don't have damage over time, because the power generation boost and Special 2 damage boost are enough to justify a gear slot. It's a great piece of gear as a third one with Tantutono Master's Death Cart, so that you can still get a second bar really quickly against a power dampening team, and if you're using your other power generating gears on somebody else on your team.
Yeah, it's not a strong enough gear to totally change the game, but it is good enough to make sense on most teams.
Yeah.
The majority of teams will have a space for this gear as one of the 9 gear slots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on to the store, we have the Superman New 52 bundle. That is for $24.99 Canadian. Prices are in Canadian because that's the information we have access to.
And it's the only currency that matters.
So there we go. That's a corroborating clue to what next week's challenge is going to be. Comes with 100,000 power credits, but it doesn't unlock a copy in your store. So as usual, unless you for some reason really want exactly one copy of New 52 Superman, and you're not going to be able to play next week, or even just buy out the challenge next week, if for some reason you're going to be totally away from your device or internet next week, is the only real use case where I would imagine it makes sense for somebody to buy it.
Right.
Or if you have like an absolute ton of money and you just want to give some money to the developers of this game, I guess.
Right.
We also have the Icebreaker pack again for $24.99, and that comes with Killer Frost Regime, and Luchador Bane. So these are all challenge characters, and Killer Frost Regime is actually a missing challenge, so it's one that you would have a hard time getting otherwise.
Right.
And so I guess the value proposition for this, especially if you're only going to get one character, is much higher for this than the other pack.
Right.
Although, like all packs, I think it's a little overpriced still.
Yeah. And the only other newish pack is the character bundle Lantern Elite, which was here last week and which we talked about then.
In Phantom Zone, we are still finished for this week. Next week, it will be back, and it'll be back for a 2-week period.
Yeah, we expect it to if it follows its usual pattern.
That's true. Fight 62 is still broken. Last weekend's breakthrough for gold was Killer Croc, Harley Quinn, and Martian Manhunter, so we expect it to be Hawkgirl, Green Lantern, and Lobo this upcoming weekend. We also have a link in the description to a thread in the Injustice Mobile subreddit from Devlin16 that goes through the breakthrough cycle if you want to check that out for yourself.
And as far as current glitches go, we go into a lot more detail every time something significant changes, which did not happen this week. But even if nothing changes, we still do a more detailed review and breakdown once a month, the first week of every month. Most recently, that was our recap from July the 3rd, 2025, this year. You can also see a video tutorial for every working glitch in our playlist, Current Working Glitches. I wonder how we came up with that name. Linked in the description of this video, and that you can reach by clicking on the eye in the top right corner. The main thing worth mentioning is that the challenge reset glitch has been confirmed to be working on this week's Zatanna challenge.
So there we go. That'll do it for this week. To finish up, we'd like to give a huge thank you to all of our lovely patrons on Patreon. That would be Michael Devries, Irvin, Ruiz, Hoshi127, and Nora Klimek and Miguel, who are supporting us on the credited level. Thank you so much for your support. Thanks so much to all of you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Komoda.